It's the time of the season for get-togethers and holiday parties, but what happens if someone were to get hurt or something happens at a party you're hosting? So joining us today, once again, is attorney Alexis Gardner to talk about some of these scenarios. Good morning. Happy holidays.
Good morning. Happy holidays, Dave.
Thanks, Alexis. So talking about just getting right into it, when I have people over at my home, to what extent am I responsible for what they do?
So you generally have a duty to make sure your home is safe for the people you invite there. If you know about potential hazards or dangers and you don't warn your guests, then you could be found liable. So for instance, if you know you have a loose floorboard, you need to have that taped off or obstructed in some way and warn your guests, make it obvious, because if one falls through and you knew about that and didn't inform them, then you could be liable. It's the same reason you see wet floor signs in restaurants after they've mopped the floor. But say, for instance, a guest goes into your restroom and they spill water on the floor, and then another guest goes in there immediately after them and slips. The insurance probably would deny their claim because you had no idea about that in order to protect against that hazard. So you wouldn't be found liable for something you couldn't have protected against.
That's really interesting about the wet floor sign, because you think that's just something that people are supposed to do at restaurants, but it actually serves an important purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
In terms of liability insurance, and I don't know, you didn't maybe deal with a lot with insurance, but can I get some sort of insurance or some sort of protection ahead of time for when I'm hosting people of like, I don't know, if would you call it party insurance, liability?
Well, usually your home insurance has a clause in there to protect for guests when they come to your home. There are strict liability things, like if your dog bites someone unprovoked, you are going to be found liable. Also, there's social host responsibility in Oklahoma. So if people under the age of 21 are drinking at your home and then they leave and potentially hurt someone, like in a car accident, you could be found liable for that as well. But there's also something called assumption of the risk, which basically says that you assume the dangerousness of engaging in behavior. One time I had a woman who was at a 4th of July party, and they all went to the backyard and started launching these water balloons from this like makeshift catapult contraption. The rubber band snapped, hit her in the eye, and she had to get surgery. But she was unable to recover because she assumed the risk by engaging in somewhat obviously dangerous behavior.
Interesting. So if you know you're someone that hosts, you have people over to your home a lot, it may be worth running some things by an attorney or asking questions, just kind of like we're doing now?
Yes, absolutely. The main thing is warning people. So you're not expected to, go out and get that loose floorboard fixed, but you have to make sure you warn people.
And then the last question that I just kind of wanted to go over, in terms of a contract, and I know, look, I mean, especially talking about folks who you don't know, is it worth doing some sort of waiver or having people sign something? I know it sounds awkward, but is that necessary? Is there a verbal agreement that you can do?
So it's not necessary, but yes, it's helpful because then it's written that you did inform everyone. The same reason if you go, parasailing or jet skiing out on the lake, they have you kind of sign that waiver, signing your life away just to protect against anything that happens. It says that I've informed you and you're assuming the risk and you've signed off.
So just make sure you get everything checked up at the house, make sure everything's good to go and be safe this holiday season. So any other advice that you'd give people on this subject or just generally as you're out having a good time this holiday season?
Well, with COVID, people have asked me, if I get sick somewhere, can I sue? That's another assumption of the risk thing. If the CDC says you're supposed to be vaccinated, you shouldn't be around 50 plus people without a mask on, but you're engaging in that behavior, good luck collecting. You're probably not going to be successful in a lawsuit.
Alexis Gardner, as always, thank you so much. And once again, have a great holiday season.
Thank you so much, Dave. You too.